Hey everybody, it's Josh with Talk About Trek, and we're back again to talk about a Star Trek book. My favorite thing to do in this world, talk about Star Trek books. And we got a really good one to talk about. We finished up today The Black Shore by Greg Cox, number 13 in the Voyager numbered series. And from what I just found out by reading the, of course, lovely Voyages of the Imagination here, this was Greg Cox's first solo Star Trek endeavor, right? So, first off, let's just get right into it, right? We have a tropical paradise holds hidden dangers for Chakotay and the crew. The Black Shore by Greg Cox. From the back. After weeks of lonely journeys through a desolate region of the Delta Quadrant, the crew of Voyager is badly in need of shore leave, so the planet Ryolanova, I've read this word so many times and I still struggle. Ryolanov. I want to throw an extra syllable in there for some reason. Ryolanov seems just like what the doctor ordered. Full of warm sunlight and gracious, hospitable people, Ryolanov is a veritable oasis amidst the endless reaches of uncharted space. Alerted by his spirit guide, Chakotay is the first to suspect that there may be a serpent lurking in this paradise, but he is not alone. Driven by a psychic call she cannot ignore, Kes must conquer her own fears to discover the terrifying secret lurking beyond the Black Shore. Very good. Yeah, I like that. That doesn't give away very much about it. And I don't know. I mean, that's how things go with these books, but this is not a Chakotay and Kes centric book. This is definitely a ensemble piece, right? This has everybody, I would say kind of everybody does have their own little time to shine, their own little bit to throw in. And honestly, I would have put, if I were doing the cover, B'Elanna and Kes on the cover. And that would have made more sense in just regards to what happens in the story, and really I feel who takes the main feature, if anyone. And again, it is very much an ensemble piece, right? Now, we do have a little bit that we can read to you from the Voyages of the Imagination here, but I'm going to save the majority of it for later in the thing here, right? Because it's spoilerific, right? So anyway, Greg remarks, after 2 collaborations, I was getting itchy to write a solo book. My opportunity arose when Voyager started gearing up. Much as with DS9 a year or so earlier, Ordover suddenly needed to get a whole bunch of Voyager novels underway, long before the show itself ever aired. How soon can you get me an outline, Greg? So there I was, lying on the beach in Florida, trying to come up with an idea for a Voyager novel. Nothing was coming to me, so I started glancing around at my surroundings. Palm trees, sandy beach, sun and surf. Hey, what about if Voyager crew visited a tropical beach planet? As for the plot itself, let's not mince words. The Black Shore is a blankety-blank novel. And it's kind of a silly thing. It totally is a blankety-blank novel, and we're going to leave that out for now. And I didn't even realize it until I read him saying it, which is kind of silly because the signs were all there, but not the typical signs. We'll get to that later, okay? All right, so anyway, let's put that aside for the moment. Oh, we did have some information about who the cover artist was, and I think it was by... Oh boy, Josh, you lost your stuff. Anyway, we can look it up again. So anyway, this book was a lot of fun. And I want to say this first off. It felt to me very much like an episode of Star Trek Voyager. And I say this often, and it's just the truth. It's just the truth that, for me, those books that are very much reminiscent of like an episode, they have that feel like seriously, in this book I felt like I read the first couple chapters And then when that part hit, it was like, boom, here come the credits. Here comes the Voyager, right? And it had the hits, it had the proper beats, right? Obviously, a book would not translate into an episode because of just the amount of time and stuff, but I think you all get my feeling, right? It played out as if it was an episode, which are my favorite Star Trek books. And I did say that correctly. This is by cover artist Drew Blair, who did a very fine job here with Chakotay and Kess. I love that the picture that I found here is of this old and worn book as well, too. That awesome. But anyway, the background is not representative of the book, which is them basically in a paradise, right? So, but it is a nice Chakotay and Kess. I will give the cover artist that as we get back down to size here. So anyway, what is the Black Shore? Again, it is your typical Voyager episode, right? You're in the Delta Quadrant. Things are looking bleak. And in this case, we are running into a bit of cabin fever. It's been a while since we've had a shore leave, right? We're heading through this region of space that is, sparsely inhabited. And it's definitely drawing, a lot of negative energy out of the crew, right? So they are definitely looking for a place to set down when they find this planet. And, of course, it almost seems too good to be true, right? It's like the perfect, vacation spot for them, right? But as things go on, you start to notice these little, problems, inconsistencies, things happening to the crew, right? And you get through a good, more than half of the book too, before the turn and the reveal, right? Boom, 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 where it's like, oh, I see. All right, you knew something was going to happen, right? But then you get to that point and it's like, man, okay, all right, now I like where this is going. So, but I tell you what, let's just get right into spoiler territory. We need to start talking about details here, right? So anyway, I was taking notes like I actually cared. Oh, because I did care, because it was so good. And man, that's the thing too. When I'm enjoying reading a book and I'm really getting into it, I find it's very easy to also then sit down and then write about the things that jump out to me in the book. And when I can do that and the two sides are playing off, man, it's a good feeling. Anyway, gosh, I love reading and talking about Star Trek books. Woo! Anyway, what do we have? We have some notes here. Again, they find a place almost too perfect, right? Total episode vibes being given off here. And the first kind of inkling, right? Everybody's going down for shore leave. It's beautiful. They going down to this black beach. And I love the way they describe this black beach, too, where it's almost like the sand is made up of these very small, fine black pebbles that don't even stick to your skin like sand does. They just kind of fall off. So it gives a very interesting kind of, thought to the whole thing for me. But anyway, B'Elanna, of course, is down there looking for power, right? She needs more power for engineering. She's looking for dilithium. She wants to know how they power their stuff. How do they keep up with things? But the real, as they're called, and kind of like a cat-like people, I think they're described. The females are bald. The males have these big manes, right? Very, very kind, very generous, very giving. They want to show everybody on the crew a very good time, right? But, obviously there's going to be some ulterior motive for all of that. And then, also, there's another race on this planet, the Nephaler. And the Nephaler are a kind of like a primate-like race, diminutive, smaller, and are basically made to be the servants for these people. They carry trays of drinks, they carry food, and they're generally treated as kind of like lesser than pets, almost, So, and they kind of see and meet up with them through various functions. There's a very fun scene here, too, that I love, where Harry Kim is down enjoying his shore leave, playing his clarinet, and what is he trying to perfect? None other than Nightbird. I think that is fantastic, and that's one of the things I should have taken notes on, right? And you're probably asking, what is Nightbird? What do you mean by that? There's a TNG episode which is fantastic, and I wish I could remember exactly which one, where Troy is pressuring Riker, play Nightbird, which is a notoriously hard song for him to play. And it's just, whenever my son is practicing the trombone, I always want to yell out, play Nightbird, you know? Damn, I wish I could find that Nightbird section in here right now. But anyway, it's interesting because I don't know if Nightbird is ever brought up in any other Star Trek fiction or whatever other than this. So now that's something I want to look into too. But anyway, as he's practicing, this Nefaller comes down and is interested in his music, right? So he eventually lets him try, and then this Nefaller starts jamming out a pretty decent tune on this thing. And so he's kind of like seeing, is there something more, you know? Is there something more than meets the eye, right? Tom Paris is getting himself into a little bit of trouble in this one. Not his fault, though. So we've got these main characters. We have Varathel. He is the elder of the real, right? His daughter, Lazia, is kind of coming hard at Tom Paris. And, of course, there's a little bit of trouble with Naxor, who's like, maybe Naxor likes Lazia. Maybe Naxor just doesn't like Tom Paris. I don't know. But he has a big chip on his shoulder, for sure. So, this book gets very heavy on the technobabble at some points, which is beautiful. I love that. And there was a particular scene which I had saved, but then I closed, which we'll find as I continue to talk here, that I particularly liked here, where it just kind of also goes to show like B'Elanna's persistence here as well, as she's trying to find out exactly kind of what is going on here with these people, right? Oh my gosh. I can't believe that I had this found earlier, and then I wanted to show you guys the other thing, and then I lost it. Here we go, here we go, here we go. We're going to get there. But anyway, I'm losing the plot here. Very heavy on the technobabble, and the point that I'm trying to find is when B'Elanna basically lists every single sensor available to the USS Voyager as she tries to kind of narrow in on this mystery of what these people are hiding, right? Now, the mystery is first kind of revealed through Kes. And again, this is a great ensemble piece because, again, everybody gets a part. But Kes and B'Elanna, they do, I'd say they're the main characters, right? Kes first, she's out having a swim, and she has a psychic episode where she kind of blacks out, and she hears the sorrowful screams of thousands and thousands of beings, right? And this is like very much real to her. Like she's there swimming, and then boom, she's in a black place, and she can just kind of feel and hear all of these beings, right? So after that happens, of course, Neelix is completely freaked out. And then also the lifeguard on the beach, he becomes like a little sus too. He's like, all right, we got to get you out of here. They come back later to explore the beach because they want to try to figure out like a little bit, you know, what's going on there. And then that lifeguard is again like, no, y'all can't be out here at night. It's no good. You got to keep moving along, right? So that's where I'm going to find that. But anyway, you can see again, then the mystery is slowly revealing itself here in the book. And the other kind of issue that's happening is people are seeming more accident prone. People are more tired. People are maybe more quick to jump at people. But definitely there's something that is changing about the temperament of the Voyager crew here, right? So they are... And there's even a part here which is kind of one of the biggest like action sequences into the book, where they're doing kind of like basic maintenance on the ship. but somebody forgot to close a certain valve so that when B'Elanna and this other engineer are doing this other engineer basically gets sprayed and covered with like, like liquid nitrogen, and like it's like frozen or whatever, right? So there's like all this going on, and again, with Paris and Kim, they are kind of like they're out at the dance clubs, they're trying to have fun, and again, Paris, he's having trouble. He's getting like perfectly freaking set upon by the elder's daughter, Lazia. And he's been told by the captain he needs to kind of stay away. And to his part, he's doing his best to do that, but she is doing her best to entice him. And it's kind of revealed at this point, too, that it's not quite a natural thing. So there is some additional power that the Rial are exhibiting, and they're not fully showing it yet, but it is definitely there that they are doing something to, influence the crew of the Voyager. Whether they are, and it's not it's not revealed fully what they're doing at this point. But I love this too. Like, this is kind of like the point where I kind of stopped reading one day and I'm like, something is draining the crew of energy. All right, let's go back to the blankety blank. This is a vampire book. It's a vampire book. I didn't even realize that. The Rial are energy vampires, and they are sucking the life out of the Voyager crew. And once the... Alright, so we're going to have to summarize here as we rush to the finish. We won't give you the full thing here, but we want you to get a general idea of the... It was really good. I mean, for Greg Cox's first solo Star Trek book, he knocked it out of the park. Like, very good. Man, I felt like he just really knew the crew and knew how to write an episode or write a book that felt like an episode. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Anyway, the Rial also are metamorphs. The form that they showed the Voyager crew was not their real form, because when they get pissed off, they transform. And I love this too because it reminded me of the TNG episode, The Dolphin, I think it's called, where they have to transport the young lady and her caretaker, but they're actually these like tremendous beasts, right? But then they just transform into like humanoid form. So anyway, they have the ability to transform into these giant kind of like cat-like forms. And again, they're energy vampires. They can suck the life right out of you to the point of basically killing you. And they have been exiled to this planet. And that's kind of like the big secret, basically, that they reveal in the end, that there is a ship buried underneath the Black Shore. And that ship was the Rial's original ship, that they were sent away in exile. When they crash landed on this planet, they killed a whole bunch of the Nefaller in that crash, which is the psychic distress that Kes felt, right? So when B'Elanna, Kes, and Neelix find this ship, they are then found out by Verithel, thus leading to the conclusion of the book, which is very good, very action-packed, and just jumps right through it, right? It's beautiful. But the whole idea is that the Rial have been draining their energy and prepping to take over Voyager so they can leave this exile and continue their energy-draining vampire ways throughout the galaxy, right? So they send a crew up to Voyager, headed by Lazia, of course, who takes over Tom Paris's mind and then is able to take over the bridge of Voyager after that. But of course, the crew of Voyager is able to overcome. And again, it's just a very fun ending sequence there as well, where multiple people play important parts in taking care of the Rial. And back on the planet, and this I can't believe I didn't realize this. Back on the planet, you have Verithal and Naxor kind of holding Kes and Neelix and B'Elanna hostage. When Voyager retakes their ship, they then do wide dispersal phaser, right? Kind of knock everybody out. It works pretty well, except it doesn't knock out the Nefaller, and it doesn't fully knock out Verathal. So Verathal gets up, ready to tear apart the unconscious B'Elanna, Kes, and Neelix. Now Kes has been thrown out of body, so she gets to experience and see this whole thing so that we can see the ending, right? And what happens is, it's kind of crazy, right? But the spirits of the dead Nefaller come to life, kind of seeing their moment, inhabit the bodies of Nefaller, giving them strength, giving them courage, so that they then basically tear this dude apart. They tear him apart, and that's the end of the book. Oh, shoot. Before that happens, though, B'Elanna, Naxor is killing Neelix, right? Oh, man. I'm going to go back one more. We're going back again. Back up to the top. There's a good part in this book. There's a good part in this book where B'Elanna asks Kes what she sees in Neelix. And her answer, I think, is really, really good. And I would read it to you if I had marked the page like a smart book YouTube person would do. But I didn't. But it's very good. And then it's basically just kind of like how resilient, resourceful he is, and how he's so different from the Ocampans that she's used to. And then for like that moment, B'Elanna kind of sees that as well too, which I really like that part. So anyway, Neelix getting killed by Naxor. B'Elanna, Klingon rage, picks up a broken bone, and stabs this dude in the heart. Like how you kill a vampire. How did I not get that, right? But anyway, yeah, and then the dude like totally dies after that, like, and apparently, yes, they're like immortal energy vampires. So, man, that was a good book. I really like talking about Star Trek books a lot. And I don't know why I don't read them more. Like, it took me 11 days to read this. I could have read this in 2 or 3 or 4 or less. Easily, I should read more books so I can come back and talk about them more, because it's just so fun. Any final thoughts from this that I wanted to save? No, I think we pretty much covered it all. But I really liked how the whole vampire aspect. I didn't even get that too, but now it's fully obvious. Anyway, the Black Shore Voyager book, fantastic book. Reads like an episode. Greg Cox did a great job. Great cover. Ensemble piece. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Live long and prosper. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.